The fear of running out of money has caused an unusual problem. Most people have saved too much for retirement, and they're going to be missing out on retiring early and living the life they deserve. So I'm going to show you why many retirees secretly struggle switching from being a lifetime saver to being a spender, and why many retirees actually see their wealth more than double during retirement. And we're going to show you some specific steps you can take to hit your retirement goals faster, easier, and without running out of money. Let's discuss the retirement transition, then I will show you the math. I imagine you've worked hard and saved all your life. Now it's time for you to start thinking about taking income from your retirement savings. But you're worried. You no longer have any working income and you fear you're going to run out of money. This fear can cause you to start playing it safe and delaying your dreams you had planned for retirement. Is this fear rational? Those monsters under your bed are a lot bigger without the light on. So let's shine some light on those monsters. Many retirees use the 4% rule for their retirement income, and that can be a huge mistake. Now, the 4% rule is where you take 4% of your starting retirement balance and increase that with inflation every year. There is a Kitces article titled "Why Most Retirees Never Spend Down Their Retirement Portfolio," and in that article there was an experiment. This experiment followed a hypothetical person over a 30-year time frame starting back in the 1870s, and every 30-year time frame from then on, 1870 to 1900, 1871 to 1901, and so on, all the way to present day. And a retiree with $1 million portfolio had an investment allocation of 60% stocks, 40% bonds, and they reallocated that portfolio annually. They took out 4% a year, and every year they increased that income with inflation. And here are the findings. None of the retirees ran out of money, and only a small handful wound up with less than what they started with. 66% of retirees ended the retirement with more than double their starting principal. In fact, you're more likely to 5x your initial principal than you would be dipping into that principal. Now, this is great if you want to leave a ton of money to your heirs, but most of the retirees that we've talked to over the past 3 decades want to live their best life while they can and then leave whatever's left to the kids. Even if you started with 4.9% withdrawal rate and got a 7% consistent return and inflation was 4%, you would not be dipping into principal until the 18th year. But we all know that returns and lifetime expenses are not consistent, and we're going to address this later in the video. The point is, many retirees never draw down their retirement portfolios, and according to the Centers of Retirement Research at Boston College, they did a study that found instead of increasing retirement spending throughout your life, most retirees spent 1% less each year through retirement. So why is this the case? People tend to want to play it safe in the beginning of retirement. They see a lifetime ahead and there's a lot of uncertainty. They want to make sure they don't run out of money. But early in retirement is precisely when you should spend more time doing the things you want to do. You're in the retirement trifecta. You have time, you have health, you have money. Go and do those things. So what can you do to overcome this fear of underspending? Let me show you. What I'm showing you here is a guardrail system. This has a distinct advantage over many other retirement income tools in that as your assets increase, you get a pay increase over and above inflation. What we have here is this particular couple with $2.75 million, and that's broken up into $900,000 in a taxable account, $1.1 million in an IRA, and $750,000 in a 401k. Now, it's important to note their legacy goal is $200,000. So they don't really care about leaving too much to the kids in this particular example. Now, their income capacity is $18,000 a month. So here's what's interesting where a lot of softwares fail. If the account values grow to $2.9 million, they get a pay increase. And it would have to drop all the way down to $2 million to get a pay decrease. And this is what many people find surprising. Only a 7% increase is needed to get a pay increase, and a 27% drop would be needed for them to get a pay decrease. And their hit in income only goes down $900. So what we got here is the baseline living expenses here, represented by the red line, what they currently are living on, and then ideally what they would love to have here in the black line. And then what we did was stress test this portfolio against all scenarios all the way back to 1870. Now what you see in the blue is times in the past that historically are similar to what we have in today, which is market valuation rates and interest rates and economic environments. And you can see here their historical spending capacity in 1870 something, they would have been able to take $30,000 and $31,000. And then you can also see historical things that happen in history. President McKinley assassination. You can see over in 1975 the oil crisis. How many of you remember the oil crisis? You got Black Monday when the market went down 22% in a day. I remember that. And then you also have the Gulf War. We take our client through this so you can spend more early in retirement. Just be prepared to have an income adjustment if we go through a significant downturns in the market. But some of this can be mitigated by having cash buffers. And what I mean by that is having cash allocated on the side to be able to withdraw from in the event that markets go down. Using the guardrail approach allows you to increase your retirement income faster as your assets grow quickly. I know what you're thinking. Great, Jeremy. How do I decide what my essential and baseline expenses are for me? I'm going to show you that and how to live your best life in the next video.